This is the L2C Media Network on YouTube, and this is Sports Final. Our promotions department sucks. That was a monstrosity. Try again, guys. Come on. This is the Sports Final. I'm Harry von Stuttgart, announcer, and as always, this broadcast sponsored in part by the L2C Media Network. And here he is, the man with the plan and the cheesy looking face. Our host, Steve the Baxman Baxley. Hello, you want... Geez, Uno, you're supposed to be doing your job. I'm going to ask our audio to lower it down here so, again, I don't get copyright stricken. YouTube is very, very insistent, as we all have seen in previous times. Okay. We seldom, if ever, do this, but when we find something interesting, we do it anyways. Time for the Baxalog. And tonight we're going to touch on two wrestling promotions. Well, first of all, we're just going to do this one this way. It took a ransomware attack to give Sinclair some flack, but now their stock's boring as it starts to fall like the Titanic. I know that doesn't rhyme, but who really cares? Yes, friends, that broadcast group that found more loopholes in the FCC ownership rules than, well, there are in my shorts, has shot themselves in the foot. They have the ransomware attack to thank for it, plus something else. You know, they paid $4.5 billion. Was it billion? No, it was million, I do believe. Boop. Sinclair Broadcasting's been in the news, but sadly, their news has not been good, and it continues to not be good. They may be the largest and most diversified media group with 185 television stations, a wrestling promotion, and now a regional sports network, and a lot of debt. Oh boy, it has not been a good November, or actually good October for them. And if I could find the script, see, this is what happens. The Sinclair is just wow. They're starting to swirl down the toilet. It's even getting into the wrestling news. Check this. Sinclair Broadcast Group earnings release provides some clarity as to why the company put a massive financial squeeze, leading to promotion, cutting all contractual ties with their, contractual players, their wrestlers last week. Here's how much debt Sinclair Broadcasting is in. The total debt is $12.530 million, which includes Diamond Sports Group, the over-the-top service the company has been working on launching. Their debt, a piddly sum of $8.124 million. Yes, some of the problems can be made on COVID, but, well, there's a lot of rumors out there. One of the biggest is Did they pay a little too much for what has become a very endangered species? See, long ago, Fox Sports Net cornered the market on everything. Then Disney came and they bought the parent company, 21st Century Fox, and their entertainment assets, which included the 21 Fox Sports regional networks. The Justice Department had Disney sell those off to the highest bidder, which happened to be Sinclair Broadcasting. Yes, Sinclair Broadcasting, the broadcast group that never met a loophole they didn't try to find and or try to sort of use for them. And right now, wow. How much, you may ask, did they pay Disney for 21 regional sports outlets? Well, if you look at it this way, boop. Well, they bought the 21 regional sports networks from Disney for $9.6 billion under a subsidiary called Diamond Sports Group. Now, Diamond Sports Group is bleeding money. Oh, I should mention I should mention that they couldn't use the Fox name, so they sold the naming rights in a multi-year deal with Bally's Casino, hence the name Bally Sports. But still, the parent company is bleeding money. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention they sold half to Byron Allen and his Entertainment Studios group. Yes, that Byron Allen, former comic, now business czar, who happens to own some broadcast stations, a movie studio, which just happens to also be his syndication studio. And right now, he's trying to dig up a little cash to help on a bid for a big fish named Tenga, which used to be called Glint Media, which owns about maybe 25 broadcast outlets. Sinclair is in trouble. And when they're in trouble, their subsidiaries are in trouble. Diamond Sports Groups could be taking the whole company down. That's why Sinclair decided to put the wrestling promotion Ring of Honor in mothballs. They say they're going to come back in 2022. I doubt severely. I think Ring of Honor has about to become a toilet ring of dishonor, and they're going to be shuttered for a long time. Their wrestlers are now looking for work in other promotions, in the independent or in the bigwigs. But they're not the only ones in little financial trouble, kids. WWE has already made their point. They're in deep trouble. Gee, I wonder how much they paid for their network to be merged into NBC Universal streaming service Peacock. Not only that, but the man in the middle, their newest hire, has cut right and left and continues to cut. Another 15 wrestlers have just been told their services are no longer required. All this, and the WWE still thinks that All Elite Wrestling is not competition. Oh, boy. Some are even saying and speculating that the WWE, which is owned by the McMahon family, it has to be, their patriarch is Vinnie Mac's dada. He wouldn't have loved what Vinnie Mac has done to his company. Sure, it's made him a powerhouse. It's made it a powerhouse name in sports entertainment, not wrestling. But when you have very little originality, and you're recycling scripts, the crowd's going to know about it. And you cut some very nice folk like Bray Wyatt, the crowd's going to know about it. And when they do, they're going to leave you. And the ratings already show that they found another wrestling promotion. It's getting to be a little too late for Vinnie Mac, who's, well, let's face it, about to turn 80. He's what, 75, 76? And let's face it, he has lost some of that mojo. He's given his son-in-law, not his son, but his son-in-law, most, if not all, the power in the free world to help his organization stay afloat. But when you're cutting staff, when you're cutting wrestlers, and when you're seeing your bottom line just start going from the black to the red, you start to wonder if it isn't time to find someone to bail you out, like maybe a private equity firm, or, as some speculate, one of two of your broadcast partners might come to the rescue, Fox or the one company you can rely on who've been there since old primetime wrestling days. That's right, NBC Universal. After all, your network is on Peacock, the streaming service. Now, I'm not saying the WWE is in that much of a financial strain, but the strain is starting to show. Ratings continue to fall on Raw and are just barely holding up on SmackDown on Fox. And some decisions by Vinnie Mac and company have been, shall we say, not very good ones, and have shown in the ratings book, to the point where the folks at the USA Network, which is owned by NBC Universal, are thinking to themselves, is it too late to bail out? How many more days, weeks, years do we have left on a contract? Even Fox is reminding the WWE 2.0 million, 2.0 million, and has the ratings for SmackDown giving them hope? No. So, if the WWE is planning for a sale, who could buy it? Would Fox want it? I don't think so. Would NBC Universal take it? Yes, but they may have a problem to convince the Justice Department. So, who ask to help? Private equity firms, maybe? Possibly. Or could the savior be found in the one place that he's assured would treat his people like royalty, that would come to his aid if asked? The Saudi government. Could they maybe put in a little pipeline to help Vinnie Mac? One thing is for certain, Ring of Honor, WWE, who's laughing now? Oh yeah, Tony Khan. But then again, wrestling is fickle. The viewers found the WWE, when it was the WWF, a very profitable, very good promotion, especially during the Attitude Era. But then the fans started to wise up and decided they need to see something new. They got it, and they're watching it. Even some of Vince's trusted generals are even taking notice. Even some of the production crew are taking notice. They're the biggest fans of AEW. I mean, after all, many moons ago, it was just Vince. He was invincible. But now, with his son-in-law Holden Court, the Invincible has now become somewhat rusty, showing signs of age, and showing very little to no original ideas. On one hand, Ring of Honor is sort of broke, while Vince is totally broke in the originality and the creativity department. What happens next? Stay tuned. Oh, by the way, I have to read this because if I don't, I might get in trouble. Views and opinions expressed in my backlogs are my own and are not necessarily those of the folks at YouTube. With that said, thus endeth the backlog, and it was a long one. My apologies. Maybe. But I had to say something about what happened in the wrestling world. We'll be doing the same Sunday night on our podcast, which gets loaded up on Spreaker.com, which is from iHeartMedia. So let's get to it, shall we? Nice segue. Let's go to the NBA. It's time for the look of scores. So here we go. And by the way, all of our scores sponsored and presented by Caesars Sportsbook. Remember, we are all Caesars. That's because we look better in togas. Let's go to the games that are still going. And here we go. Okay. Early in the fourth quarter, it is the Sacramento Kings. It's 108-91. 8:46 left to play in regulation. It is the Portland Trail Blazers, the Indiana Pacers by a score of 90-86. Minute 3 left to play in the third. And the Golden State Warriors lead the New Orleans Pelicans 84-66. Ah, yes, but there is more. Final score time, and here we go. The Brooklyn Nets defeat the hapless Detroit Pistons by a cheesy score of 96-90. Washington Wizards bite on some Grizzly meat and beat the Memphis Grizzlies 115-87. San Antonio Spurs, love them churros, beat the Orlando Magic 102-89. Cleveland Cavaliers over the Toronto Raptors 102-101. New York Knicks slanced the defending NBA World Champs, the Milwaukee Bucks 113-98. And finally, Los Angeles Clippers made it so A-Rod wouldn't miss the parade celebrations for the Atlanta Braves. They beat the Timberwolves of Minnesota 104-84. Speaking of which, and who were we to speak of which? We go now from the hardwood to the hard synthetic ice. It's time now for our NHL scoreboard and hockey scoreboard. So let's go to it. Let's go to the hops, shall we? Okay, we got not one, not two, not three, but 4 games still going. 3:02 left to play in regulation. It is the Edmonton Oilers over the New York Rangers. Well, actually, I read that wrong. Thank you. The New York Rangers over the Edmonton Oilers 5-4. At the second intermission is the Anaheim Mighty Ducks of Arizona 3-0. At the second intermission, it's Nashville Predators over the Vancouver Canucks 3-2. 5 period, it is a scoreless panache against the Devils and the Kings. Final score, Winnipeg Jets over the Linda Steel, Chicago Blackhawks 5-1. That is your NHL scoreboard. However, yes, there is a however to all this. We go from the N to the MHL, the minor hockey leagues. There's only 2 we can actually endorse, and that is, of course, the American and Ontario hockey leagues. Let's get the games of the AHL, find out how they're doing. And yes, we're trying to find ways to get a listen to. I think we may have done one, but we'll have to see about that on tomorrow. Right now, let's go to it. The Henderson Silver Knights are beating the Tucson Roadrunners 15:52 left to play in the third, 2-0. 15:54 left to play in the third. It's the Stockton Heat over Abbotsford Canucks 2-1. 19:52 in the third. It is San Diego Gulls and the Bakersfield Condors playing to a 1-1 tie. Are there finals? Of course there are final scores. Let's do this. You got Belleville Senators over the Cleveland Monsters 6-2. The Hartford Wolfpack over the Bridgeport Islanders 7-4. In overtime, Grand Rapids Griffins beat the Iowa Wild 6-5. Utica Comets over the Syracuse Crunch 6-3. Toronto Marlies over the Rochester Americans 4-1. In overtime, Springfield Thunderbirds over the Hershey Bears 3-2. Providence Bruins over the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins 6-2. And in overtime, it was Milwaukee Admirals over the Manitoba Moose 2-1. Let's now check on our friends north of the border. Above us, they are known as the Ontario Hockey League. We have 9 games. Oh, let's do it. North Bay over Kingston. North Bay over Kingston. Yes, got it right for the first time. Hey, ain't that cool? Okay, come on, guys. Come on, go back to scoreboard. North Bay over Kingston by a score of 5-4. Mississauga over Hamilton, 3-0. Ottawa over Peterborough and no other boroughs by a score of 6-3. Saginaw over Sarnia, 7-4. Niagara over Sudbury. No, excuse me, I screw up. 2-1. Sudbury over Niagara. The Sioux over Guelph, 9-4. Flint over Kitchener, 6-4. Owen Sound lost to London, 2-1. And in overtime, Barrie over Oshawa, 5-4. Now you're probably asking yourself, with all that said and done, are we done with hockey yet? Nope. Wonder why? Because we do this every Friday. We forgot to do it last Friday, so we're doing it on this Friday. Let's give you a looky-loo and see where Saturday's contests are. That's right, folks. It's time to put you in the low zone when it comes to everything good, clear, and noxious. It is time to take you on a tour of Saturday afternoon, Saturday night's hockey night, and hockey day. Tampa Bay at Ottawa, 2 p.m. Eastern. That's on the NHL Network, TVA in French Canada, TSN in Canada, and Bally Sports Sun in Florida. Speaking of Florida, actually Tampa Bay, but speaking of Florida, 6 p.m., Carolina takes on Florida on Bally Sports Florida and Bally Sports South. Now, here are the 7 o'clock games, otherwise known as the games you'll see on Hockey Night in Canada on Rogers, Sportsnet, and the CBC, and any other of their affiliates. Start off with the New York Islanders at the Winnipeg Jets at 7 o'clock. Sportsnet 360, City, Sportsnet West, and MSG Plus. Detroit takes on Buffalo. Madison Square Garden Network Buffalo and Bally Sports Detroit. The first of the CBC games in the double dip on Hockey Night in Canada. Boston at Toronto, 7 p.m. NHL Network will carry that. CBC, Sportsnet Ontario, Sportsnet Pacific, and NESN, the New England Sports Network. Vegas is at Montreal at 7. That game to be carried on City, Sportsnet East, the French Canadian Network, TVA South, or TVA Sports, and ATT Sportsnet Rocky Mountain. You can catch all of that if you wish or are so inclined to do so on NHL center ice. That's nice. Minnesota at Pittsburgh on ATT Sportsnet Pittsburgh and Bally Sports North. Philadelphia, Washington, NBC Sports Washington, NBC Sports Philadelphia. Colorado, Columbus on Bally Sports Ohio, and the fun folks at Altitude. The Seattle Kraken taking on the Arizona Coyotes, 10 p.m. That'll be on Bally Sports Arizona Plus and Root Sports Northwest. And the second half of our Hockey Night in Canada double dip, the New York Rangers travel to Calgary to take on the Calgary Flames, 10 p.m. on CBC, Sportsnet City, and MSG. And the final in 10:30, New Jersey at San Jose. That'll be on NBC Sports California and MSG Plus. That is your Saturday night, Saturday afternoon. That is your Saturday of hockey fun, thrills, and excitement. And there you go. It's all good, is he not? Yes, it is. It's good. It's good. It's nice. Now, you probably ask yourself, are we doing headlines? Yes, we are. But, of course, we want to give you all the scores we can. So we now go international. That's right. It's time to go for our international scoreboard. And, wow. It's crazy. In the Premier League, Southampton over Aston Villa, 1-0. In the FA Cup, Colchester over Sudbury, 4-0. Scottish League, it was Albion Rovers over Edinburgh City, 4-0. In Saimaru Premier action, it was Konas Quay Nomads over Ballatown, 4-0. Newtown, as opposite to Old Town, took care of the Druids of Sefton, 5-0. Irish Premiership action, Larne over Crusaders, 1-0. In the Irish Premier Division, it was Sligo Rovers over St. Patrick Athletic, 3-0. Shamrock Rovers over Waterford, 3-1. Finn Harps and Derry City tied at 1. Spanish La Liga, Cadiz over Athletic Bilbao, 1-0. In Das Bundesliga, it was Borussia and Mainz tied at 1. Italia Series A, Empoli and Genoa tied at 2. In the French League, it was Lens over Troyes, 4-0. In the Turkish Super League, Kayserispor over Alanzispor, 2-0. Gaziantep over Kazimpaşa, 2-0. And there you go with the soccer stuff. Now, if you ready, I'm ready. Let's go for some headlines, shall we? Let's first give you the Week 9 injury report. And we start off big. We start off handsome. Houston Texans, hi there. And Miami Dolphins, for the Texans, tight end Farrell Brown with a thigh injury, linebacker Christian Kirksey with a thumb injury, quarterback Deshaun Watson sitting out, waiting with his bag of bucks. Linebacker out. So are the others. Dolphins, linebacker Jerome Baker, knee, quarterback Tua Vailoa, ribs and left finger are questionable. Vegas Raiders and the New York Giants. Raiders are the healthiest team in the NFL. Meanwhile, the Giants, running back Shaquan Barkley with an ankle, linebacker Lorenzo Carter with an ankle, defensive back Nate Ebner with an ankle, wide receiver Dante Pettis, shoulder, wide receiver Sterling Shepard, quad, they're out. Running back Gary Brightwell, COVID protocol, wide receiver Kenny Golladay, knee. Wide receiver John Ross, quad, questionable. Patriots and Panthers. Patriots, this list looks like an episode of MASH, which we can do the theme, but we're not legal for that. Defensive tackle Christian Barmore, linebacker Jawan Bentley, ribs. Defensive line Carl Davis, hand. Defensive back Cody Davis, hand. Defensive back Kyle Dern, neck. Kicker Nick Folk, left knee. Linebacker Dante Hightower, ankle. Offensive lineman Shaq Mason, abdomen. Linebacker Josh Usk, shoulder. Linebacker Kyle Van Noy, groin. Punter Jake Bailey, right knee, and wide receiver Nikhil Harry, knee. They're all questionable. Meanwhile, for the Panthers, quarterback Sam Darnold, concussion and right shoulder injury. Quarterback Stanley Thomas Oliver III, a toe injury. Guard Pat Eflin, hamstring, questionable. Minnesota at Baltimore. Here are the Vikings. Defensive tackle Mike Pierce, elbow. He's gone. He's out. Linebacker Anthony Barr, knee. Quarterback Cameron Dantzler, ankle, questionable. For the Ravens, running back Latavius Murray, ankle. Offensive lineman Patrick McCarry, ankle, doubtful. Wide receiver Rashad Bateman, groin. Wide receiver Sammy Watkins, thigh. Defensive tackle Brandon Williams, shoulder. They're questionable. Atlanta Falcons, New Orleans Saints, the Falcons, they too are healthy. That's right, no players listed. Saints, quarterback Jameis Winston, knee. Defensive end Carl Granderson, shoulder. Wide receiver Ty Montgomery, hamstring, out. Safety Marlon Jenkins, knee. Defensive end Peyton Turner, calf. They're questionable. Denver Broncos at the Dallas Cowboys. Broncos, tackle Garrett Bowles, ankle. He's out. Safety Caden Stern, shoulder. Tight end Albert Ogunbonum, knee. Defensive line Mike Purcell, thumb. Guard Graham Glasgow, hip. Offensive linebacker Malik Reed, hip. They're all questionable. For the Cowboys, tight end Blake Jarwin, hip. Tackle Tyrone Smith, ankle. They're out. Wide receiver Mari Cooper, hamstring. Wide receiver CD Lamb, ankle, questionable. Cleveland Browns at the Wonderint, the Cincinnati Bengals. Browns, wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. He's gone. We'll give you an explanation. Tackle Jack Conklin, elbow, out. Defensive end Takaris McKinley, groin. Wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones, groin. Cornerback Denzel Ward, hamstring. Tight end Harrison Bryant, thigh. They're questionable. Bengals. The edge Cameron Sample, knee. Halfback Chris Evans, hamstring. Wide receiver Auden Tate, thigh. Questionable. Buffalo Bills, Jacksonville Jags. Tight end Dawson Knock, hand. Offensive line, John Feliciano, calf. Offensive line, Spencer Brown, back. They're out for the Bills. Wide receiver, Cole Beasley, ribs. And safety, Jordan Poyer, shoulder, are questionable. For the Jags, running back, James Robinson, heel, questionable. For the Chargers and Eagles, very simple. Wide receiver, J.J. Arcega Whiteside, ankle. He's out. Chargers, cornerback Michael Davis, hamstring. Running back Justin Jackson, concussion. Cornerback Asante Samuel Jr., concussion. They're out. Safety Alohi Gilman, ankle, is doubtful. For the Packers and the Chiefs, you might as well say it. Aaron Rodgers out due to COVID. Defensive line Kingsley Kiki, concussion, out. Tackle Dennis Kelly, back. Defensive line Dean Lowry, hamstring, questionable. For the Chiefs, tackle Mike Remner's, knee, he's out. Defensive tackle Kalen Saunders, knee, questionable. Arizona Cardinals, San Francisco 49ers, they are like this for the Cards. Running back Jonathan Ward, concussion. Defensive end J.J. Watt, shoulder. Safety James Wiggins, knee. Defensive tackle Rashad Lawrence, calf. They're out. Wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, hamstring. Quarterback Kyler Murray, ankle. Offensive lineman Max Garcia, questionable. For the 49ers, defensive line Maurice Hurst, calf. Defensive back Jimmy Ward, quadricep. They're both out. Running back Elijah Mitchell, ribs. Wide receiver Debo Samuel, calf. Defensive line D Ford, thumb, questionable. Titans, Rams. Titans, fullback Kari Blasingame, knee. Guard. Nate Davis, concussion. Linebacker Rashawn Evans, ankle. Cornerback Greg Maben, ankle, out. Fullback Tony Carter, shoulder. Tackle Kendall Lamb, his back. Taylor Lewan, tackle, knee. Wide receiver A.J. Brown, knee. They're questionable. Rams defensive line Sebastian Joseph Day, chest. He's out. Wide receiver Robert Woods, foot. Offensive linebacker Von Miller, ankle. He needs rest. His knee. Linebacker Ernest Jones, illness. They're questionable. Bears and Steelers, game time decisions. Now, we did make a little explanation. Let's give you the full one. After less than 3 seasons with the Cleveland Browns, Odell Beckham Jr.'s time in Cleveland is officially over. Let the doves fly. That's right. The Browns announced on Friday that Beckham will be released, which means he's soon going to be playing for another team. Unfortunately for Beckham, though, he isn't going to get to pick his next team, and that's because he has to clear waivers before he become a free agent. And it seems unlikely that a player of his caliber and mentality will end up clearing waivers. If you're not familiar with how the waiver process works, it's pretty simple. Each team will have a chance to make a claim for Beckham, and any team interested in adding him will have to make their claim by Monday. The waiver order is basically like the draft. The worst team picks first, and you go from there. Right now, your 3 worst, especially the big worst, Lions, Texans, Dolphins currently have the top 3 spots in waiver order, which means they'll have the first crack at Beckham. If the Lions and Dolphins were to both put in a claim for Beckham, the Lions would get him since they have the higher waiver priority. And I don't think Odell Beckham wants to play for Detroit. That's the one thing I think we all know. We all know he don't want to be in Detroit. The only way he'll ever be in Detroit if he plays against them. Now, although those 3 teams are at the top, it's hard to mention any bad team wanting to add Beckham. So if he gets claimed, it'll probably be by a playoff contender. So with that in mind, so far, let's put it this way. Could the Seahawks be interested? Maybe. What about the 49ers? No. How about the Colts? No. How about Patriots? Maybe. How about the Chiefs? Maybe. How about the Saints? Nah, I don't think so. Raiders? Well, there's a possibility. In fact, I'd say that's a strong possibility. I think Odell Beckham's agent should look at going to the Raiders. They want some bad players. They've already got about, 1, 2, 8, 10. Packers? Possibly. They need someone to deflect attention away from Aaron Rodgers. Ravens? I don't think so. And the Rams, are you nuts? They are going gangbusters over there since they got this new exciting quarterback. Name escapes me. Matthew Stafford. Oh, Matthew Stafford. Whatever happened to him, anyways, to his previous team? Who knows? But there you go, folks. We keep going and going and going. Okay, we've done that. We're not going to do that thing on Paul versus Fury. No, let's just stay with what we got here. Well, the Hiroshima Carp are expected to submit outfielder Seiya Suzuki to the posting system this offseason, enabling him to make the leap to Major League Baseball, according to John Morosi of MLB.com. Now, Suzuki, a 5-time All-Star who recently turned 27, in the Nippon Professional Baseball. This season, he hit .319, .436, and .640 with 38 stolen bases on 13 attempts and more walks and strikeouts. For his career, he's batted .315, .415, .571. And last summer, CBS Sports named Suzuki as Nippon Professional Baseball's top player worth watching. Tigers could possibly. Suzuki's track record in youth would likely make him the top free agent outfielder on most Major League Baseball teams' wish list. The posting system is best thought of as a transfer portal that enables international professionals to join MLB's ranks. Teams like the Carp submit their players in exchange for receiving a financial cut based on the contract the player signs. The system has different rules for players who are under the age of 25 or who have fewer than 6 years of pro service time. Those rules apply to Suzuki. After Suzuki's services are officially posted, Major League Baseball teams will have 30 days to reach an agreement with him. It's only then that the Carp will receive their cut, as Morosi explained, under the current MLB NPB transfer agreement. The Carp would receive a release fee equal to 20% of the first $25 million in guaranteed contract value, plus 17.5% of the next $25 million, plus 15% of any amount beyond $50 million. Now, the Carp aren't expected to submit Suzuki to the posting system until after the Japanese series ends, which will be in late November. In other words, the Suzuki sweepstakes won't have a resolution till December at the earliest. Wow. Weird, fun, exciting. Haha. Okay, let's get you something on Conference USA. Now, Conference USA announced the addition of 4 new members on Friday, adding Liberty, New Mexico State, Jacksonville State, and Sam Houston to help stabilize the league amid the latest wave of conference realignment. The addition of schools who will join the league on July 1st, 2023 follows a big old shift in the conference structure that left the league with just 5 members, with more realignment imminent. AU, North Texas, Rice, UAB, and UTSA are each leaving Conference USA for the 2AC, while Marshall, Old Dominion, and Southern Miss are moving to the Sun Belt. It's also probable that the beleaguered conference will lose Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee to the MAC, sources told Dennis Dodd of CBS Sports. If the Hilltoppers and Blue Raiders depart, the league's total would stand at 7 members, with existing members FIU, Louisiana Tech, and UTEP combining with the 4 new members. In that scenario, Conference USA would still need at least 1 more addition over the next 2 years to reach the NC2A mandated minimum of 8 schools for FBS leagues. Liberty and New Mexico State are each independent in football, while Jacksonville State and Sam Houston compete at the FCS level. Now, Conference USA isn't the only group of 5 conference undergoing changes, as the Sun Belt is on track for an expansion from 10 to 14 members. In addition to the previously announced additions of Old Dominion and Southern Miss, the Sun Belt is also adding FCS power James Madison after the school received state approval in Virginia on Friday to make the move. Formal press conference is scheduled for tomorrow. Wow. So there you go. Now, NASCAR made news as they released the new schedule for next year. And why have they made news? Well, we gonna tell you. Because news is that do we have the let's see, do we have the oh, we gotta do it here, right? Yep. Yeah, let's do it, shall we? Let's do the NASCAR schedule. And are you ready for this? We've also got the networks that are going to cover it. So let's get going. Here's your NASCAR Cup Series schedule with networks. Boop. What are you doing? Excuse me. Can we go back? Thank you. All right. Can we go lower, please? I'm trying not to get copyright stricken. Thank you. Not too low, just enough so you can hear it, but it won't be picked up by the mic. Okay, let us get to the broadcast schedules for 2022. The Cup Series has more races on network TV now. The sanctioning body of stock car racing has unveiled the broadcast schedule for the 2022 NASCAR Cup season. There are noticeable changes, very multiple noticeable changes, including the most races available on network TV since 2009. Now, according to the broadcast schedule, there will be 19 races on network TV during the 2022 Cup season. 10 will air on Fox, while 9 will air on NBC. Now, this is an increase from the 2021 season, which only 18 races aired on network TV, while the rest aired on cable. 10 were on Fox, 8 were on NBC. The remainder were split between FS1 and NBC Sports Network. But since NBC Sports Network will be disappearing on December 31st, let's give you some of the let's go to, yes, thank you very much. Let's give you the Fox half of the season. Whoops. What the heck is going on here? Okay, well, nope, don't want thoughts. And I would like, for once, no little blocking on the commercials. All right, let's do it like this. Let's go for the officials. Okay. Now, Fox, now, of course, FS1 will take Sunday, February 6th and Thursday, February 17th. The Clash will be at the LA Memorial Coliseum at 8 p.m., and the Duel at Daytona will be on Thursday, February 17th on FS1 at 7. And then the season starts with the Daytona 500 on Fox at 2:30. And now the Fox races will go February 5th, February 27th, March 6th, March 13th, March 20th, March 27th, and April 3rd. With the races at Daytona, Auto Club, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Atlanta, Coda, and Richmond. FS1's races will go on April 9th in Martinsville. Then Fox will take the next two on April 17th and April 24th, the Bristol Dirt and the Talladega on Fox. At FS1, May 1st and 8th and 15th will go Dover, Darlington, and Kansas on FS1. They'll have the All-Star race May 22nd in Texas. Then Come on. Jolly good, people. Jolly good. Then Charlotte on Fox. Then, well, that'll end the Fox portion. FS1s will end on June 12th with Sonoma. Here's where things are going to get fun. With NBCSN shutting down, the brunt of NASCAR's NBC half will be seen on USA Network, as NBC will just take maybe a few of the races. Okay, so we'll just do this. It's going to be interesting to see racing on the USA Network. So for those of you on cable who never did get to see NASCAR racing on NBCSN because they were on a sports tier, which was very expensive, good news, they're going to be on USA. With NBC carrying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 total races on NBC. The rest will be on. Now this is just the NASCAR Cup Series. Xfinity and the Truck Series, they'll be available as well. But, folks, it's looking pretty good for the fans of regular television. By that, I mean network and the not expensive version of cable. So there you go. Goody, 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 goody. Yep. 10 on Fox, 9 on NBC, and the rest on cable that you folks can actually get on the regular Pay. In the press release for NBC, they'll present a total of 39 races, 20 Cup, 19 Xfinity, across NBC and USA Network in 2022. So there you go on that. Let's see. It's going to be fun. I can tell you, it is going to be fun. That's right. So there you go. And that's going to, I think, do it for even the awful announcing. No, I don't think so. Nope. Because we've got a couple of things we've got to do. And, Brian Anderson, he's going to be cutting down a lot on the Brewers games. That's right. On Friday, MLB.com's Adam McCalvey reported some news about the Brewers broadcast booth in 2022. Specifically, McCalvey reported that play-by-play broadcaster Brian Anderson will only call 50 Milwaukee games next season on Bally Sports Wisconsin, with Jeff Levering taking over the bulk of the broadcast. Additionally, Matt LePay is leaving the organization after 8 seasons due to his expanding work with the Wisconsin Badgers. On a more positive note, Bob Uecker's role is expected to remain unchanged. That's right. LePay, who tweeted his thanks to the organization, confirmed that he'll be doing more with the Badgers going forward. McCalvey also reported that the team wanted to bring LePay back but couldn't make it work. Now, as for Anderson, it doesn't appear that his role with Turner will completely take him away from the Brewers. Per McCalvey, Anderson signed a multi-year extension with the team in September. So, what is Anderson's expanding role with Turner? The company is yet to announce its plans for its 2022 Major League Baseball broadcast, which makes sense given that the 2021 MLB season ended 3 days ago. But it's the company's first year of a new 7-year rights deal, and Turner's weekly game is moving from Sunday afternoon to Tuesday evening. Anderson will presumably be the voice of that broadcast, which would make it impossible for him to continue to work a full schedule with the Brewers. Additionally, Anderson has been one of Turner's main NBA voices and will presumably continue on that and just as prominent a role following Marv Albert's retirement that'll take him out of an even more significant chunk of Brewers broadcasts in the first half of the season. That's the crappy part about having an awesome local broadcaster. More often than not, national network is eventually going to come in and poach. Unfortunately for Brewer fans, it means he'll be on fewer of their broadcasts going forward. By the way, no one's going to replace Jerry Remy in the Boston Red Sox broadcast booth. They'll probably use rotating broadcasters. And those of you that love the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, sad news. Emilio Estevez, who originated the role of the Coach Gordon in the films and brought him back for the Disney Plus series. Well, they're not going to pick up his option for season 2 after weeks of back and forth with his team over the show's COVID vaccination requirement. Lilian Andreeva from Deadline.com reported ABC Signature, the producers of the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, made the decision after some discussions. So, sources close to Estevez indicate that creative differences may have played a role in his exit, though we can't actually say anything about it. He wasn't the only notable person here. The cast also includes Lauren Graham and a number of promising young actors. And yes, there's some presence for non-Bombay story. The third movie in particular featured Estevez in a very minor role, with the players moving on to a new high school team that was reportedly because Estevez was focused on his directing of The War at Home. But this season of Game Changers will be the first Mighty Ducks content, otherwise known as live action, not the animated series, which was unrelated, which was about actual ducks without Estevez's Bombay whatsoever. We'll see how this goes. It should be good. I mean, look at how Happy Days survived without Chuck. Think about it. Okay, there is that. There is thus. And we now go to our final segment, and that is, of course, our international sports. Man, this has been nothing more than, tactful. Oh, we got to do this. Before we go to our last segment, we must, in eloquence, give you the 411 on your college football games that'll be taking place. So let's skip those and go for the highlight of Rudy's. And it's very simple. Oh boy, let's just do it this, and if we have any little senior commentationables, we'll just do it and do it with love. Okay, ABC starts at noon Eastern with Wake Forest in North Carolina. Then around 3:30, it'll be Michigan State at Purdue. That's going to be a wild game. And at 7:30, they wrap it up with Oregon and Washington. CBS will start at 12 noon in Arlington, Texas, actually 11:30 a.m. in Arlington, Texas, where Army will take on Air Force. Then around 3:30, 4 o'clock, it'll be Auburn at Texas A&M. NBC will do their Notre Dame game. It's going to have Navy at Notre Dame. Fox's triple hit will be at noon with Ohio State and Nebraska. That's a must-watch game. Following that, about 3:30, Baylor takes on TCU, and the nightcap will be Indiana at Michigan at around 7:30. ESPN has Missouri at Georgia at noon, Oklahoma State at West Virginia at 3:30, LSU at Alabama at 7, and USC at Arizona State at 10:30. ESPN2 brings you Illinois and Minnesota at noon, Tulsa at Cincinnati at 3:30, Tennessee at Kentucky at 7, and University of Texas San Antonio at University of Texas El Paso. On the ESPNU, it'll be Southern Methodist at Memphis at noon, Tulane at Central Florida at 4, and Houston, South Florida at 7:30. Right. ESPN News will probably be the next one to fold. They don't have anything this week. Fox Sports 1, Kansas State at Kansas at noon, Penn State of Maryland, 3:30, Texas and Iowa State, 7:30, and San Diego State, Hawaii at around 11 o'clock. FS2, their only game will be San Jose State at Nevada. The regional sports networks will take on Georgia Tech at Miami. SEC Network will take Mississippi State at Arkansas and Florida at South Carolina. Mississippi State, Arkansas, 3:30. Florida, South Carolina, 7:30. Big Ten Network, Wisconsin at Rutgers. That'll be at 3:30. Iowa Northwestern follows at 7. ACC Network starts at noon with Pittsburgh at Duke. Then at 3:30, 4 o'clock with North Carolina State and Florida State, and ends with Clemson and Louisville at 7:30. The Pac-12 network only has 2 games with very little to no confidence. California and Arizona, 3 o'clock, and Oregon State, Colorado at 7 o'clock. And CBS Sports Network will be Louisiana Tech at UAB at noon, Colorado State at Wyoming at 3:30, and Boise State at Fresno State at 7 p.m. And there you go, folks. By the way, Middle Tennessee at Western Kentucky will be on Stadium at 3:30 p.m. 4 o'clock games, Utah State and New Mexico State will be on the CW in El Paso and Valley Sports, Arizona. And Marshall at Florida Atlantic on CBS Sports Facebook page. UNLV in New Mexico at 7 on Stadium. And let's see, anything else? Nope, that's about it. There's your college football. And because we were a little late, Let's give you just one more little ka-ding, and that is this. We must do this quickly because I know of a few people that want to get some sleep. I'm one of them. So here we go. Let's give you the playoffs. South Korea, the Korean baseball organization, the LG Twins beat the Doosan Bears 9-3. Kelly with the win for the Twins. He's 14-10, and Guak with the loss. He's 6-10. Let's see. Update. 8 minutes left to play in regulation. Los Angeles Kings, New Jersey Devils are tied at 1. And folks, believe it or not, that is it. We have survived a freaky Friday. And trust me, it's good to have a freaky Friday end with more freaky. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I'm Steve, the Baxman Baxley. You have a very pleasant and peaceful rest of your evening. Remember, late Saturday, early Sunday, 2 a.m. Turn those clocks back an hour, unless you're living in states that don't give a damn. And to those guys and to those folks, I say, you lucky bastards. Good luck. No, you lucky bleeps, I should have said. But you know what I mean. Those states that don't acknowledge time changes, you are lucky as hell. But thank you anyway for watching. This has been a presentation of Mystifying Creativity Productions in association with the L2C Media Network and L2C Sports. We got a lot to do tomorrow, so we hope you'll tune in. I think around 11:45 p.m. for our Saturday show. Good night, everybody.